everything better anyway. So
sometimes you gotta hype yourself up. And that's what I was doing.
Literally. I feel like that every morning. It's like, all right, Queen, you got this.
Let's do life today.
Yes.
Renaissance usually gets me going. I can be down in the dumps, and there was a point in time in my life when I could put on Renaissance, Beyonce's album, and it would just like take me out of the dumps, just like a miracle, a Christmas miracle.
Yes. You know what though? I feel that way about, what is it, Black is King? That album she dropped. That just makes me, it just reaffirms my Blackness, my womanhood, just life.
How old is that? When is that? When did that come out?
I remember, I know it came out while I was in Tulsa, so I had to been between like 2020 and like 2022, around that area.
Which is different. It's different from The Lion King, or is it The Lion King when she did her own Lion King?
Yeah, it was her version of The Lion King, and I loved every bit of it. I actually cried, especially when what's the Black women song? I forgot what it's called, but brown skin girl. Yeah, that one. I was like, I'm a brown skin girl.
Oh, yeah, she's talking about me. That's how I felt about the Just For Me perm box. I was like, they made that just for me. That's the way.
You took it back.
Totally different from what brown skin girl did for you. I don't know. It just made me think about like what representation does, and the fact that they had these little Black girls on the box.
Real.
I was
That's
like,
real.
Is it just for me? Anyways,
I love it. Hey, they have the best theme song too, by the way.
They do. Well, they also don't get perms today. Anyways, that's beside the point. That's not what I was going to say. Sometimes you have a thought and another thought comes. Anyways, welcome back to Black Around the World, a space devoted to having conversations that connect, enlighten, heal, and build community amongst Black people globally. I'm Ray.
I am Queen.
How you doing, Queen?
I'm good. Like literally, I felt so bad having to wait. I remember when we planned this conversation for July 3rd, I'm like, I'm not gonna be doing anything. We don't celebrate that holiday. And like we're doing all of the things now. So we've been grocery shopping, cooking, cleaning. People are coming over. I'm rearranging my room. I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, it's tough out here. It's tough to be like about it, like boycott holidays, but they just kind of fall into it. And it's just like, family's here, we're off. There's things, there's, the energy is different, and you just kind of fall into it. I already know. I remember I'd be like, I ain't saying happy birthday America or nothing, but I'm gonna eat this barbecue.
That part, exactly.
I'm like, eat this barbecue. You're not gonna stop this Black joy and stop me from getting in on this barbecue. I'm not gonna. It's there. They're going to barbecue. It's going to be some barbecue in my vicinity, and I'm going to have some.
Exactly. Daddy make a potato salad. So I'm like, I'm here for all of it. This is Juneteenth, like 0.2, 2.0. Or we're just gonna call it Juneteenth extended.
Rebrand it.
Exactly. How have you been, I should say, since the last time we spoke?
I've been good. I have a clean bill of health. Last time I spoke about not feeling well. I was not feeling well. It's clear that too, but took my pills. I did a neem steam, which is, I think I told you, we got some leaves from this tree. It's a very healing tree in Ghana. They're everywhere. But you boil the leaves and put your face on there, just inhale it in, and just makes you sweat everything out and gets things circulating. After that, I was feeling brand new when I was like, I'm going to go take a test. I took a test and I was negative for typhoid. And so I'm happy about that. It's been a good weekend, like after like really like recovering and getting out this past weekend, meeting up with some people. One of my favorite things that I did this past weekend was meet up with my ORU sisters, which ORU.
Really? Are we in Ghana?
All in Ghana. So which I guess Shay actually graduated from ORU. We have to talk about that, but she had just commented on it because This is the power of social media. Like if we didn't have it, I also think about like, well, if I didn't post enough, like if I didn't see my friends post, I went to college with, she just randomly posted about being in Ghana. She doesn't post about Ghana rarely, but she was like posting how she was doing her laundry in Ghana and how, cause she lives far out. And I was like, you're in Ghana, I'm in Accra. And then after I messaged her, someone else messaged me, was like, hey, I'm in Ghana too. And this person, we didn't know each other in college, but she was like, the fact that she went to ORU and we're on the continent in the same country at the same time, we got a link. So we ended up linking the three of us in Isla Gong, Accra. And it was a beautiful time of just, I don't know, it felt very like, I forget about my days at ORU oftentimes. And so it really made me grateful for that time, that time afforded me this experience right now that I'm having with them. So I think that it would, we live very far apart, but to be able to come together, and they are not in community because of where they with a lot of people on a regular basis. So it was good for all of us. So yeah, I mean, gratitude to social media, gratitude to ORU, gratitude to Ghana for bringing us together, and hopefully we can like spend more time together. So that was my beautiful moment in community. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It brought joy to my heart. They're both moms, so they were making fun of me. They're like, "How does it feel to be hanging out with your mom friends?" And but it was cool for us to be there for each other, grocery shopping and doing all the things, trying to get all the things done. Because when you live far out, when you come to Accra, you're like, I'm gonna be social, but I got stuff to do because I don't have access to a lot of stuff. So we're like still trying to live and still like be social. So it's cool.
I love that for you. I don't even think I knew you went to ORU, unless like that was something that you probably just like touched on and it never sat in until now. But dang, I knew a couple of people that went out there. That's dope.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what's going on with me. What about you?
So that moment in community. I know I haven't really been out in the community much. I spent a lot of time at the museum and
what museum?
The Black Girl Magic Museum.
Oh, okay, how's that going?
It's going good. So I don't know if you know this, but I think she spoke about it briefly when we met her the first time, but she does traveling exhibitions. Essentially kind of like what I want to do, but she's on the museum side of things. And so she has one coming up in Houston. So I'm gonna go with her to that. She needs just some extra hands. And then, oh my God, I went blank. The mother of Juneteenth, what is her name? Oh God. She was just at the museum yesterday. I wasn't there though. We ended up getting tickets to the WNBA
the mother
game.
Of Juneteenth.
Yes. Come on now. I want to say her last name is something Pearl. Oh,
the woman who
made it a holiday.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
She was
where?
So
she was at the Black Girl Magic Museum. And then like as I'm talking, yeah, she came and she wrote a book. So, she was there. Opal Lee. There we go. Boom. I had to look it up. I was like Pearl, Opal, some type of stone. She was there. My father, he went and he got to meet her. And so that was great for him. But so I've just kind of been helping her. She's only been open for 90 days. Like when we went, it was like day 2, you know what I mean? Like we went early, so she's still trying to build and kind of create a foundation.
She was at noon.
Because I was telling her, I'm like, girl, I had a list of things that you shouldn't be doing, or you can be doing, and she was like, I've only been open for 3 months. I was like, okay, let me shut up then, because you are further along, because I'm like, you could do this and this, kind of like what people used to do when they would come into the gallery, have all these brilliant ideas, but like never offer any help. So I was like offering help and ideas. And then in the midst of that conversation, she was like, I just celebrated 90 days. I was like, wow, that really just gives it a different perspective. So, essentially she's the startup again. So that's my moment in community, really just kind of help the museum evolve. And I'm still out here with the new boo. So we in the community.
Being in
Yeah,
community with each other.
we're outside with each other.
Any updates on that?
Well, I called you offline that one day to ask for some advice because I was like, is this a cultural thing? And so we actually had a conversation about, kind of like what it looks like to move fast and love bombing. And I brought a lot to his attention, but like he was so receptive to all of it. So I'm like, oh, but it's going good. We're just taking it day by day. I kind of let him
the
know.
Conversation with your new.
Yeah, I had the conversation with the new boo about
which is basically a synopsis of it. What the conversation you need to have was what?
Just like
the pace.
It's like, whoa, this is fast. Yeah,
whoa.
like this is fast. Whoa,
train is going fast.
Exactly. And then kind of like giving them the perspective, like, look, I've been single for 2 years. You haven't. So my guard is all the way up, and rightfully so. I'm creating boundaries for myself. And so, it's just kind of like patience, my child. And, he was totally open to it, understood. And so it's been great. Like, I appreciate your advice that day. I think it kind of definitely changed the whole trajectory of what we were doing. Because at first I was like, I'm about to abort this ship. It's going way too fast. And then you're like, you just need to be open and talk. And I had that conversation. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm so glad I didn't just jump off.
Yeah.
Because I would block somebody in a heartbeat.
Okay. I got you. I'm glad you had the conversation. I think that is a lot with a lot of relationships of like, give somebody a chance to self-correct, to be aware of how they're impacting you before you just cut them off, which that's the easy route, right? Just to cut people off. It's difficult to have conversations. It's difficult to have uncomfortable conversations. Sometimes it's a matter of really getting down to the bottom of what you really feel and what you really need to express. And then sometimes it is about just wondering if that person's going to reject you, or not understand. It's like all these reasons why. There's so many reasons not to have a difficult conversation. But
exactly. Remember we talked about that with Joy on our boundaries conversation about, not being so quick to cut people off, kind of giving them the opportunity to say,
yeah, I remember you said you would cut somebody off at a heartbeat. That's the easy thing to do.
Now, when we did have our conversation, though, when I had a conversation with him, he said it has nothing to do with culture. He said, because there are people that would think that he's moving fast back home.
Where's his home? What's his culture?
He's from Ghana. He's Ghanaian.
Okay.
And he hates when people say Ghanaian. He was like, I don't know who the hell made that.
No one says Ghanaian. No one's ever said Ghanaian.
He said he's heard people in America say it.
How does he say it?
Ghanaian, one of those.
No, maybe Ghanaian. And he says Ghanaian.
I think that's the correct term, Ghanaian. I don't know. But anywho, he's Ghanaian. And so when I had asked him, though, I'm like, so is this a cultural thing? Like the whole love bombing, moving fast? He was like, no, because there are probably people back home that wouldn't agree with how quickly I'm moving. But I also think it's a Virgo thing, because the Virgos I know, they like when they made their mind up about something, that's it. Like, this is what they want and they go for it. There is no like wavering, 1 foot out the door type stuff. But I always try to tie things to horoscopes. But I know after having that conversation with you, I definitely sat down with him and he kind of just was like, no, I just know where I'm at in my life. I'm not getting any younger. And when I see someone that I want to be with, I make sure that I make it known. Like, I don't really just beat around the bush, which I appreciate, because I've been with people, like I said, I normally attract people who are super emotionally unavailable. Don't know why I like that challenge. But for him to be like, you know, when you kind of don't show interest, then you can lose your opportunity. He was like, I want to express my interest and be super transparent, which is why I gave you a key. Did I tell you gave me a key to the space?
Yes, you did.
Okay, yeah. And that was like, whoa. And not only did I get a key to the house, I got a key to the mailbox. I'm like, I don't even get mail here, sir.
After 3
But
weeks.
yeah, after 3 weeks.
Yeah, a couple of things. A lot of times these dudes don't be self-aware to know that they're doing things that everybody's doing. They really feel original. Like dudes really be feeling original. Like, no, this is me. Like, no, like, oh, dude did this last time. Like you're saying, like, I dated Ghanaians for a year. Like, not trying to put anybody in a box, but yeah, I'd be doing the same thing. But also, like for me, I also wonder because I dated somebody here who was kind of like moving on that timeline that you're speaking of and saying things. It made me feel like there was somebody else that he didn't get to finish this part with, or he just is trying to ease into something else to make him forget whatever it is that he was trying to deal with somebody else. So it was like he was already at mailbox and keys with someone else that fell off, and to feel better, he needs to transition on right into something else to distract him from the hurt or whatever. That's what I summed up my ex. I'm like, bro, you real comfortable real fast. And it made me feel like he had was trying to, and this occasionally he would bring up his ex, and then one day he was trying to go to some, I don't know, some African country. He mentioned, have you heard of this place? And then he mentioned his ex was going there with her boyfriend or whatever, and then weeks later he asked me if I want to go. And so then I started noticing a pattern. I'm like, you competing with her, or you're like I need you to go and heal. One, stop trying to use me as a distraction or whatever. But that's another thing. Like,
you know what? Mind blown. Okay, because you say that, and I do know, I didn't share this with you, but apparently 4 years ago he dated this one young lady who apparently is like me, right? I mean, from our creativity, not apparently I'm a little bit more creative, but you know, just like a lot of similarities.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
A lot of similarities. And I mean, this is what he said, not me, but he was, apparently there's so many I mean, even to our father's first names, like there were so many things that reminded him of me, and they were like together for like years, but she ended up like stepping out and cheating or whatever. But I wondered and still wonder, like, is it like I messed that one up and I don't, you know, I want to make this one right because I want to pick up where this one left off. Kind of like what you were saying, this one was great, and here's someone that's like this, so let me kind of pick up where I left off with this person, which could bring that comfortability factor to it. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it could. But at one point I was like, please stop saying this girl's name. I feel like I know more about her than you at this point. Oh my God. Oh. And then it was like comparison all day. Oh my God, homegirl would do this.
Oh my God, did no, that too. Absolutely not. Out of line.
And I'm like, when did y'all break up? 4 years ago. I'm like, and this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're doing.
Are you sure? I was like, what if 4 years ago, sir?
Yeah, 4 years ago.
Anyways, I was just gonna say, like, it don't even have to be that they messed it up. Sometimes it's about like proving your like worthiness of, I feel like someone, even if it was her fault, it's like, look, like I'm worthy of love. Like, look, I'm with somebody, like, and you're trying to like ease back into that same feeling. I know, I even speaking from personal, like myself, thinking about how my motivations between getting with someone can often be to like prove my worth of, like, I just want to let people know that I let this person know, like, I am indeed capable of being loved and I'm worthy of love. I'm capable, all those things, like subconsciously, if we really sit with ourselves around what motivates us to do things and move in the pace that we move in with individuals, it's oftentimes more so about us than anything, you know.
I don't know. I ain't gonna lie though. I had tried to make, I mean, even after the conversation and before, I try to make sense of like, what is the rush? Yes, we're not getting any younger, but we're not that old either. Like, let's be real, you know? And so when you said picking up or whatever, like it did remind me of the fact that I'm like, why do I keep getting compared to this girl? I understand we have a lot of similarities that are freaky and scary and whatever, but I don't want to be her name 2.0. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not this person.
Right.
You know, like and he's quick to say, well, I just recognize your energy because I've been there before, and you know, I truly like it. And I'm like, okay, I get it. You know, her birthday was close to mine as well. But it's like, dang, dude, like I am me. I am not that person.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know though. It's been interesting to say the least. The whole just dating again, and especially dating someone from a different country. Like even the littlest things. I had made a reference from a movie, Willy Wonka, because I was like, cheer up, Charlie. He's like, who's Charlie? I'm like, whoa, you've never seen Willy Wonka. He was like, what is that? I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if this is going to work. But there's been so many references that I've given, and I'm like,
which is interesting because did he tell you like what he symbolized, what he knows what Chale means? Like, did he say anything about how they use that in Ghana?
no, he didn't actually.
Okay, it's not really. They don't say Charlie, but they say Chale when they like instead of bro, they be like, Chale. It means like bro, you know. So, but it's not Charlie. So I wonder if that reference like ping that in his head. I don't know, but maybe not.
No, he didn't mention it, but I noticed that it's like, oh my God, there's like this cultural disconnect that, you know, I guess it would be the same if I dated a white man. It's like, you don't understand anything I'm saying. You don't know what
Absolutely.
a swag surf is.
Back to your love for swag surfing. So, anyways,
Shay in the building. Bum, 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 bum.
What's up, fam? Hey, ladies. Hey, beautifuls. How are y'all?
How are you doing? We still can't get over Mexico having a different time than Texas.
Seriously, we're Black around the world, and we don't even know the time zones. We're trying to get it together.
Every day, it's my everyday life, and I work more on Ghana time, so I be all messed up.
Yeah, definitely.
You look beautiful. I'm loving the vibes in the back. It's giving me vacation now.
Hey, thank you. We just moved this weekend, and we're kind of out in the, I don't want to say the country, but I guess the Mexican country, and there's a whole bunch of roosters out front, so y'all might hear them.
Okay, I'm here for the whole livestock and everything. And just to give people perspective, Ray and I met Shay at the Black Girl Museum. What was it, about a month and a half ago, possibly? Because I know she's only been open for 90 days. But when Ray was in town, we went to the museum. I'm sure y'all can see that video on TikTok somewhere or Instagram. But while we were there, we found this dope artist. She just walked in with all this art, and you know, the conversation was just super organic. And come to find out, Shay is from Tulsa. Now, if you listen to our podcast, you know, Ray's from Tulsa. I met Ray in Tulsa, lived there for a few years. And I don't know, her energy was just on point. But little did I know that Shay and Ray had been talking, and it was like, we're going to have a podcast with Shay. I'm like, bet. So this is great. And I mean, to even add to it, I remember when we met, you said you now live in Mexico, which blew my mind, just because I don't know too many Black people that are like, I'm going to move to Mexico, but you did. So if you want to, you can introduce yourself, kind of give that little backstory, and then we can dive deeper into your whole transition and what it is that you do.
Hey. All right, ladies, thank you so much for having me, Ray and Queen. It was absolutely really cool to meet you guys, and coming from Tulsa, that background, it's just wild. But I am Shay Chanette, your friendly neighborhood international artist. Gang, gang. That's my tag. But
I'm here for it.
basically, I'm basically a mom, entrepreneur, and now full-time artist. I was a nurse in a former life back in the States. About 11 months ago now, we packed up, moved to Mexico, Puerto Vallarta, and living this life, chasing the dream, but not the American dream. We're chasing the dream of freedom, balance, ease, peace, and walking in your purpose.
Ooh,
So thank you, ladies, for having me.
of course. I love that. I love that. So you born and raised in Tulsa. When did you leave Tulsa? You didn't go from Tulsa to Mexico, right? There was like some in between there.
Yes, so you're born and raised Tulsa, Oklahoma. We left, I want to say in 2018. I literally finished nursing school, did not have a job secured, packed my family and moved to Texas. I knew I wanted a change and just a change of environment. Moved to Dallas area, stayed there about 6 years. It was cool though.
Yeah, Dallas is a
So
vibe.
you you being from Tulsa, you talk about nursing, but you're also an artist. How did this artist journey, like what's your first memory of like art is something I'll gravitate toward and want to be a part of, like what I put out in the world?
Ooh, I love that question so much. Like art is such a big part of my life. It always has been. Like I was always that, like most artists, that artistic kid in school. You have an assignment and you're the one going above and beyond, sketching everything, painting everything. So art has always been in me, that creative energy, like most of us creatives. I would say I started taking it serious as a profession about 4 years ago because it makes me happy. Other careers, working for other people, they don't make me as happy, but creating art that inspires people, man, that's everything. So I started chasing that and really honing in on the skills, learning it, and launched my first custom build business in 20, I don't remember, but it was like 4 or 5 years ago. And so I've just been taking it seriously ever since then and made that transition to art life.
Were you doing shows or exhibitions in Tulsa and Dallas?
More so in Dallas, it was in the Dallas move that I started taking it serious. Like, okay, I don't want to just paint people's cats and dogs and for family and friends. I want to really start creating real art. And yeah, I started getting into shows, exhibitions, galleries, the whole nine, and had some success there. But I will say it felt like an uphill battle. Like in the States, I feel like people were constantly trying to control my art, control my narrative, tell me what to paint. So I kind of walked away from a lot of that in the States.
I see. Well, okay. So, I mean, being from Dallas and an artist, were you received well in Dallas, or do you feel like it was just like impossible to break into?
No, I did. I do feel like I had a lot of success. It wasn't impossible. It was work. It was networking. But like once you get to a certain level in the art world, it's harder to control your narrative for your art. I'll put it like that. But no, Dallas showed me love. I have a lot of love for the D. Like I have a lot of love for Dallas. It definitely put me on the map as a professional artist.
I love that. Oh, and people who are really super art enthusiasts, obviously you can check out Shay and what she does, but who would you say your influences are like maybe artists that you can find yourself kind of resonating with?
Ooh, favorite question. Look, cut me short if I get too long, y'all.
Okay.
And I'm curious to know. I'm curious to know who inspires you in the art world too. But like, I like rebels. I like
Mm.
rebels. So my top three, I'll give you my top one out of my top three is Lena Iris Victor. She's out of I believe London, but her work takes Afrofuturism, which is a relatively new field of art and it's ours. So I'm real protective of Afrofuturism. She took it
Mhm.
and just elevated. So quick example, art school, they say don't use black. Never use the color black. Mix your own black, make it depth, make it in depth. Lena Iris Victor said, "Watch me," and she uses
Mhm.
black on purpose in her art, and I love that. Check her out; she's dope, and she's a rebel.
I definitely will. Well, I mean, as an artist, it's funny because I owned a gallery. I showed art once at the gallery that was there previous before I opened, but a lot of the artists that I work with are up and coming artists. So obviously I like the greats, but when it comes to like now, I would say my go-to artist is Eddie K. And she only uses black. So that's funny. When we did a paint and sip, she only uses black and then the canvas white. Like that's it. And so I love her art. When you walk up to it, it's super abstract. But then when you step further back, it gets like, the picture becomes a lot more clear. So she's definitely a huge inspiration of mine. But as an artist, I never really followed artists. I was just like, I like your art. I appreciated people's art, but I never really got like inspiration other than, what I started getting once I opened a gallery and started to get to know artists and talking to them and listening to their whole thought process as to why they created. So I started learning a new love for it, that's for sure. So you said you were in Dallas, though. I want to know, I guess, how long was that and when did you decide to move to Mexico?
Yes. Okay. And shout out to Eddie K. I'm a fan. I love her art. I see her in Tulsa
Yeah.
doing big things. I got to give her her flowers. Okay. So Dallas, Texas area, we were there about, I want to say 6 years. And
Mm-hmm.
then the transition, like, okay, y'all know a lot of things happened after the vid. I'll say the vid. A lot of things happened. Inflation. My rent in our cute little suburb townhouse went up literally like $600 per month. Food going up, gas going up. Like we were comfortable. We weren't wanting for anything. But when all those prices went up at once, I started paying attention. Like, and I already had it. I told Ray, I already had it in my mind to leave and go to Africa eventually. You know, that whole, you're to return, I'm going to Ghana. I was one of those. I was ready. But my planning, you know how you just plan and plan and plan and don't really execute? I feel like after the vid, everything going up, prices going up, it made me execute because it was like, you're going to stay here and keep paying all this extra money and not put it in your savings? You might as well just go. You got enough saved, go. So I had a flight attendant friend, artist friend from my art group. We meet every week called The Panel. We hadn't met in person, but she's a flight attendant and she said, Africa's a big step. You have kids. Let's try Mexico first. I'll come with you. It's a softer landing for the kids. I'm like, cool, I'll stay for 3 months and have someone to travel with instead of just traveling as a single parent. And that was the plan. And I came and I woke up in Mexico with just me and my kids and knowing about 3 sentences in Spanish.
I know that was difficult.
I never heard of it being the vid. I was about to be like, what's the vid? Did you guys talk about this? Oh, COVID.
Yeah, girl.
There's a Texas thing calling it the vid. It sounds so much cooler than the horrible disease that it was. Don't you can make cold. Black people will make something sound cool, but over the span, so this is wild. Like to me, how prices. I hear stuff like this happening in California, right? Like people raising prices and things like that. Over the span of what did your rent go up by? Like this is not a small thing. Like $600 over the span of how long did it take for your like monthly or just in one shot? It was like, oh, by the way, your rent is up $600.
No, my lease was about to be renewed in 2 months and they sent out the notice. I expected an increase of maybe 50, $100. I've never had an increase more than $100. And no, that was my new rental rate was additional. It was like additional 580 something dollars per month for a 2-bedroom townhome. And mind you, this is on top of me trying to buy a multi-family unit for the past 2 years as well, having good credit, having enough income, and still being like pushed into this box of no, just buy you a little family home. Like, why are you guys only approving me enough to buy a family home? I don't want a family home. I want an investment property. I want a multi-family unit, duplex. 2 years of fighting for that. And it was just like, I couldn't get it. And then you're going to raise my rent almost $600 too? Bye.
Yeah, I think
See,
about
that's scary. I've always wanted to buy a duplex. I'm still trying to get to that point, but obviously racism is real, but I don't want to experience any like bumps in the road. I want to be able to just do what I need to do without it being like, no, you shouldn't, because I know what I should and should not do. But I mean, I like your head because realistically, you don't want to just jump into something when you know there's an alternative, which is a multi-unit. That has always been a dream of mine. So are you going to do that in Mexico? Are you going to try to get a multi-unit there, or are you working on that?
No, I do want a property here. I'm gearing more towards like an art residency. That's another topic. I would like a building like that here. But Mexico is not home. It's right now, you know what I mean? But I know it's not home. I do feel like eventually Africa will be home.
right now.
So I remember when we met, you did mention you would never move back to the States.
I mean, God willing, knock on wood, I'm not trying to. I always want to return to the US as a visitor, not to live.
Wow.
Yeah. I want to know how it's been being an artist in Mexico now. Like you transition here. I see you doing body art. I see you doing different things. Has it emerged into something, or what has that journey been like? Like bringing your art to. And did you envision I'm coming here and I'm coming to be an artist? Like, is that something that you envision like for Mexico?
Okay, so I'll answer that second part first. When I first got here, like I said, life happened and my travel buddy wasn't able to come. And so I moved to like a very local neighborhood when we first got here. So like literally I woke up to chickens and Spanish and it was just like, damn, culture shock. It was my first time out of the country as well. So I moved with the mindset of I just need a change and I'm not going to do nursing, I'll do art. But I didn't know I would really, really step into becoming a full-time international artist with the opportunities that Mexico has given me. So when I woke up and I didn't know what to do and I could barely talk to the people around me, I started painting shit. Like I did what I know to do. I contacted the Airbnb I was staying at. I was like, hey, I have some paint, I have some supplies. Would you guys like a mural? They say yes. I got my ass to the street and got to work and started painting. And that started giving me a plug into the Airbnb community. That started giving me a plug into the community I was living in. People walking by, talking, learning more Spanish. I literally started doing what I had to do, which was paint. So the experience of being an artist in Mexico, when I tell you it has been so freeing, nobody cares that I'm self-taught. Nobody cares that I'm a Black woman. They're just like, oh, you can paint? Okay, come here. Vámonos. Like nobody cares about anything else. And don't get me wrong. Yes, I am hustling. I am working harder than I have ever worked in my life, but I'm working for myself. So I love it. And no, Mexico gives you opportunities because there isn't the same barriers that I felt like I had in the States. Just being real.
So when you made that transition, did your children come with you, or did you like, let me get stable first?
I threw everybody to the wolves. Kids came, everybody. Mama mad, family mad.
What? Wow.
Yeah.
How are they adjusting to the schools out there?
So we did remote school through the States the last 2 semesters. They were first they were in a Texas remote school, and then I changed it to an Oklahoma online remote school. It was fine, but when they go back this August, I'm going to put them in a brick and mortar school. Because listen, I'm a lot of things, but being a homeschooling mom, I'm not about that life.
It's very demanding. When the vid hit,
yeah,
I was a homeschool mom.
A lot of parents learn what these teachers are going through, and hopefully people start being a little more compassionate to teachers. After you find out what they're going through with your kids and what they're having to motivate your kids to learn and do and all this stuff. But
yeah, it's no joke. Like
yeah. Well, being in at Mexico, being there with your kids, operating in the way that you were as an artist, starting to, do you also feel like just being in a new environment? Because I feel like changing environments can invigorate something in you that like wasn't, that you weren't operating, invigorate you into a way that you weren't operating before, where you were, like the newness of it all. Like, do you find that that was a bit part of like how you showed up as an artist there, or what?
You said the last part
Of
about art.
like, basically, does the newness of Mexico, did that impact you, how you showed up as an artist at all, how you even showed up anyway, professionally, even as a mother or anything? Does the impact of a change of scenery, the change of environment, the change of culture, how did that impact you?
Oh my God, yes. And I'm curious to know too, like when you travel around, does it impact your art, your style, your creativity? Again, for us, this was my first time ever leaving the country. So my art changed drastically. Like I was that person going for more semi-realism, spending 3 hours on an eyeball. Like I was very, very in tune and depth. Something about Mexico made me messy. Baby, when I tell you I
Mm.
would just post up my easel and just start throwing paint, slinging, like it was so much more freeing. And then the colors of Mexico started coming into my art. I started using more oranges, more teals, like you can see a change, a shift in my work since moving here. Definitely.
I love that. She said more freeing, like no boundaries. I'm about to just make this piece.
Yeah.
No
No,
A
rules.
that's
messy
powerful.
piece.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So is there, crazy question, but is there like not racism there? Like what is it? I know you said nobody cared that you were a Black woman, but like have you just felt like, like you little Maria walking, or do you kind of feel like, there's a difference, for real? Like I've never been, well, I've been to Mexico on a cruise. That's a different perspective,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Okay. And you know what? I did a video talking about racism on my YouTube channel. Y'all check it out. It's short. But
okay.
racism is here. Yes. However, in my experience, I live in a very tourist strong area. It's not as popular as Cancun, but Puerto
Mhm.
Vallarta is more like your snowbirds, older people come in to get away from the cold weather, but many of them bring that mentality with them. Do I get racism from the locals? No. The locals, first of all, they love some chocolate. I get called Bonita, Hermosa, Morena, and I had to go Google those words and make sure they weren't calling me something bad. But no,
It's all good work.
yes, they show you love. I don't get racism necessarily from the locals. I do get tourism as far as they might see you and be like, oh, you got money. Let me try to, get a little extra out of you real quick. If you don't know any better and don't know your pesos, you'll get that way more than you get racism. However, when it's high season and there's a lot of tourists, they can bring that mentality with them. And when you don't deal with it for so long, like the microaggressions we're so used to in the States, I didn't realize how many we actually take on in the States day to day and every single interaction a lot of the times. But when you go a break without that, and then you come here and a tourist brings that energy to you, you will be ready to fight because
Wow.
you have lived so long without it. When you
Mm.
do encounter it,
Wow, I feel like you're speaking to us normalizing, internalizing a lot of things that we just unconsciously aren't aware of, a lot of things that we are experiencing in any space in the States. And then it took you getting out of the environment and then realizing this doesn't have to be how life is on a day-to-day basis. It wasn't until you were plucked out of your environment that you were able to see a little more of what you were experiencing. That's interesting. Yeah.
perfectly
Um,
said. Yes.
What are the, I'm not a negative Nancy, but what are the negatives? Like, just so if I could be prepared, like let's say I wanted to move to Mexico, which I had no problem doing. What are the things that I should be like, okay, let me prepare, but on the negative end, like things that maybe it's not negative, maybe it's opportunities or whatever, but
The challenges.
yeah, the challenges.
Yeah. Oh, no, I love this question because I don't want to give people the wrong idea that, oh, I moved from the US and everything is just great and peachy now. No, ma'am, you're trading a set of problems in the US for a different set of problems in a different country. Mexico has its issues too. It's just I'm taking a break from America's problems, mass shooting, inflation, all that. And so here, yes, it's not perfect. So you have to get used to, I would say the number one thing is being financially prepared to sustain yourself and your family in whatever country you go to. Like finances is the number one reason most people don't get to travel as much. And so I see it, I take it as a challenge. When we were talking about art and how Mexico has changed your art, baby, I wasn't doing murals before. I wasn't doing body art like that before. Like these are things that I adapted into by seeing a need and fulfilling it and making sure I can sustain my family and way of life and not have to go back to the States and be a nurse. So it's a challenge, but you can overcome it if you're adaptable and seeing what the community needs and answering that need. So financially sustaining yourself in another country. Um, the culture here is different. And I hear it's the same in Africa, but I hate to say it, but we run on our own time. Melanated folks, we just run on our own time. If you try to have that, I want it now, that microwave mentality that we've been accustomed to in the US, you will not do well here because baby, Mexico runs on its own time. If they tell you they will be there at 2, you better make a 4-hour window because they're gonna be there when they get there.
CPT time. It's in Mexico too.
Yes, I think anybody with melanin in their skin runs on their own time, and you just have to go with the flow here. Don't get caught up in those type of things because they will stress you out, and you can't change it, baby. They're gonna show up when they show up.
Yo, I'm laughing because me and my friend are dealing with that with the apartment search in Ghana, and like it's a balance because I believe in not being like so like time and this sense of urgency or like, you know, we just get caught up in time because we were in program in Ghana, but like bro, like it's like I gotta take a taxi to get to you to be in this area. Like I need you to consider me. Like that's just what I'm dealing with in Ghana. But yes, you gotta set aside a window for somebody for a meeting that you set for 2 o'clock and 3-hour window. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's definitely a us thing. I also that's an artist thing too, because artist is like, what is time? You know, time is just a construct, you know. It's like, okay, you're right, but I got somewhere to be at 6, so I need you to come on. But I love that though, because then it kind of, well, I don't know, depending on every situation, but it alleviates, you know, the stress of I need to be here at this time.
Yeah, I think it should be. I think in a perfect world, in the world, that's how it should be. I think we should be able to live more freer around time, but because that concept doesn't fit the world that we actually live in, where there's responsibilities, deadlines, and people that adhere to, you know, and rules set here and different things and structures and all these things that's set up, it's like hard to do that. So I'm like, okay, I gotta move off grid to really subscribe to these things. So am I really about that off grid? Like, really, I think you have to be plucked out of the system, but also I think that you can create that world, right? You can build that life that you want to build, to be where you can have time to meet with somebody for 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? You have to create those processes in your own life.
Yeah.
But
I remember during our little pre-conversation, I guess you spoke to Ray about this, but can you kind of give me like in detail, like what is it that you're doing with the continent? you're hiring people to help you, and like in what capacity?
Oh my God. Ubuntu Graphics. That's my baby. That's my company. So what we are is basically a digital marketing, advertising, social media content managing, everything you need in the art world, especially digitally, that's what we do. So how this came about is it's birthed from connecting with people on the continent who are artists. But I'm talking web developers, digital artists, NFT makers, and so many people on the continent are so highly educated and so expert at what they do and don't have enough job opportunities. So what we did was we came together and formed a company to offer our services to globally. Right now we're in Canada, Mexico, Africa, US, but globally offer our services as a team of creatives, as a company. I love Ubuntu Graphics. That's my baby, y'all.
But strictly
So
hiring
when
from African countries is your model. But you're strictly hiring from African countries. Is that correct to say?
Pri- Primary. I do
Primary,
have help
okay.
in the US and in Mexico now. So I would say strictly people of color, but it's just so much talent on the continent. And these are people that like artists that I started working with on the Shay Chanette brand side. They were helping me. I was paying them to help my brand. But then I'm seeing how talented they are and how much they're needing work. And I'm like, we need to do this for everybody. So that's how Ubuntu became an actual company offering what we do for everybody else. And then they built my brand in the background too. So it's like a win-win.
Yeah, I absolutely
okay,
love the connection between African Americans and continental people building together. I think that more of that, please, more of that, please.
I would definitely love to do that as my brand expands to outsource, especially because I need it. I do everything on my own, but to be able to make sure that I hire people who have the skills, and without it just being someone who I went to school with, but like on the continent, I want to do that. So, question, you said I guess you reached out to these people that were on the continent. Like, did you meet them via social, or was it like a website where it's like hirefromthecontinent.com? Like, how did you find these people?
Honestly, I feel like universe, God put everything in order. So like, I was focusing on my social media and building it, and I started running ads, but I only ran my ads in the content on the continent. That was it, and that was to network, not necessarily to get sales, but like to network. Because again, I was year to retire, and I'm gonna move to Africa, and I'm like, I want to build a community around me when I move. I know somebody. I don't want to, just go completely blind, which I ended up doing anyways. But that's how I started meeting people, and a few we just really clicked, and we started working on different projects together. The work ethic was amazing. Shout out to Iffy. He's been with me the longest, 4 years now. He's out of Nigeria. Very cold illustrator, logo artist. And then I met my right-hand man, B, who's an animator, video editor out of Ghana. And he's also my partner with Ubuntu and helps run the company. He's the COO. So no, I haven't met anybody physically in person yet. But when I tell you we are like this, and they are committed to the Ubuntu goals of building a company, like, yes, they're talented, yes, they're experts, but I've had other people I hired from the continent who have really good products, but they didn't have the Ubuntu heart. Ubuntu is an old African proverb saying, we are stronger together than apart. I am because of we. Like, it's the emphasis on humanity coming together. And so for us, we cut out the middleman. I ain't even gonna say it. Nope, I won't get your podcast in trouble. We cut out the middleman.
Who's the middleman? Who's the
Say
middleman? Say it. We like controversy. A little bit.
And just a little bit. We're not working with Chinese contractors. We're not working with American companies to build Ubuntu. We're working with just us, like for us, by us, but we are servicing everyone. However, we're using my American umbrella to keep everything, covered. But we we're building together. And that's important to us, to build with Ubuntu.
Speak to, like, people have the skill set, but they don't have the heart. Like it sounds like a value. Your value system is really important. It's like we could be doing the same thing, which is what maybe graphic design and maybe art, but in order for us to actually work together, because you built, sounds like, these partnerships with people across continental, across the ocean, who you have never met in person, but they're literally people you trust and people that you're doing great things with. But you said it was about their heart and they didn't have the Ubuntu spirit. Like, speak to what that looks like as far as what it looks like in a person, and how do you know that that's something that they desire to put out in the world, or how they operate in the world?
That's a beautiful question. And I would say this, it wasn't something I learned overnight. It took a lot. It took a lot for me to inspire.
Oh, we lost your volume.
Wait. We can't hear you.
You went on mute. I don't know
Oh,
why.
no, you're on mute.
Just unmute yourself.
How am I on mute? Sorry.
I don't know.
Here you go.
Wait, last thing we heard was it took a lot, and then
hold on, y'all. I don't hear anything. Un momento, por favor.
See, because we getting too melanated. This conversation is becoming too powerful.
And the feds is
feds is watching.
The ops.
The feds are watching.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Does that?
You sound great on our end.
Can you hear us?
Mic check, 1, 2.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Reset that question.
No, you're good. You were just saying it was something that didn't happen overnight.
You're saying about the Ubuntu, identifying that in a person, and
yeah, learning to let go of staff didn't happen overnight. It was hard. Like, the first person I had to let go of, I literally went to the beach and cried and was thinking about their family and felt sad. And I really had to kind of man up, like, girl, he costing you money. Stop playing. You're trying to run a business. So I had to scale those emotions back and really focus on what does it take to make this business successful. So partnering with people that you've never met, they will show you. They will show you. So if you see them hustling as hard as you, okay, let me put it this way. Some of my staff go through things that I could never imagine. My right-hand man waits until midnight because that's when his internet is the fastest to do his work. So he's up at midnight working for the company just as hard as me. My first artist, Iffy, he will have brownouts. He still has brownouts all the time in Nigeria. He will walk to go get a generator to charge his laptop, to come back home, to get a job done and have it on time. Whether it's raining, it doesn't matter. Like, and literally working like to candlelight to make sure he gets jobs done. So when your staff starts doing things like that, you understand they're hungry, they're serious, and they're going to build with you. When you have someone that you send a job to and they won't triple the money for, that's how you know. Or at least that's how I've learned.
That's good. You mentioned you had a business model of like the give back. Do you remember you were telling me that, like, that you worked that into your business? Could you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so, and I will say one of the benefits of being able to be my own boss and run my own business is I can run it how I want to. And sometimes you do need that emotions, you do need that spiritual guidance to know what to do, what not to do. So for me, giving back is such a huge part of my life. I believe in the principles of reaping, sowing. What you put out, you're going to get back. Whatever you believe in religiously, whether it's karma, whether it's whatever, white Jesus, whatever you believe in, what you give back, what you give out, you're going to get it back. And so for Ubuntu, it's always been important to target small business, medium-sized individuals, especially people of Black people, African Americans, Africans, to help them with their business. They may have a beautiful product and don't know how to market it, don't know how to hashtag it, don't know how to present it to where it gets attention. So, yes, I'm constantly applying for grants, raising funding. I think y'all saw me doing a super mom contest. Child, I was doing a whole contest to get money for my company so that we can sponsor businesses to help them get packages to build their brand and put their product out to the world. That helps Ubuntu. That blesses us when we're operating in that energy. It just keeps coming back to us and we get blessed every time.
Do you have a background in marketing, or was it something that you just kind of you were self-taught because you were marketing yourself?
No, no background, honey. My whole career has been pretty much healthcare, research, nursing of later in life. Child, I don't know anything about marketing. I had to learn, but I started taking any little free program or class that I see, YouTube University. No, I taught myself branding, digital marketing, all those things, and continuously teaching myself these things. It's fun though.
I'm a
It
huge,
goes right in the head with art.
I know I'm a huge advocate for that. Like, you are never too old to learn. You are never too nothing. Like, I think people should always go out there and just try something, because you never know what you might get out of it. It could help your existing business, someone else, or just expand your mind, people. Come on now. I love that though. I might need to work with y'all,
Real.
because I'm working on an exhibition myself and I do need an animator. So we could talk about that offline for sure. I love
I got
that.
animators. Let's go.
I know you said that, and now the light bulb came off. I was like, yes, because I found my animator on Fiverr, not from the continent. You know, he was a great person to work with, but I would much rather work with my peoples, not taking away from his craft, but
Yeah.
I want to keep it in house for sure.
Keep
Yeah.
it in house. I love that.
I want
That's
to keep it
beautiful.
in house.
You better keep it in house. That's something
See,
that I'm being in Ghana thinking about a lot, of like the need to keep it in house and how it always should have been kept in house, and that Ubuntu spirit, how that has been lost, or in certain areas of the continent probably was never really present, and what the negatives of, are like the ramifications of not having that Ubuntu spirit, and seeing the interconnected between us has really kind of been has been a downfall for some of us,
that's a
That's what I
whole
learned.
conversation right there.
That's what I learned when I was in Tulsa, when I had the gallery. And obviously, my family history is Black Wall Street, but being there and learning more about the stories and how a lot of those Black business owners would open their space to other business owners and only charge them a fraction of what they made throughout the year, as opposed to knocking them over the head with rent off top. They really worked together. And that's what made these successful communities like a Black Wall Street successful, was because they helped each other. And so, that's definitely in our blood for sure.
I kind of wish
We got to get back to that.
Yeah, of like, when you start to do your own thing and you're the boss, she's the boss in the situation, you literally don't have to do it how, you don't have to follow the blueprint that's been laid out as far as being a boss or owning your own company. Like, you now have the freedom to reimagine and recreate, what it looks like to do business. And so I see that's what you're doing. Yeah.
I love it. It's hard. Don't get me wrong. I don't sleep a whole lot, because technically it's two full-time businesses, running Shay Chanette, the art, and then running Ubuntu. But when I tell you it's so worth it, I feel like the people that have been attracted to work for Ubuntu, they're all generational curse breakers in their family. They're all doing things that their family hasn't done before. And so it's like they just got that hunger to build something great and to build together. And that changes the game. That changes everything. Yeah.
And it speaks to what you're doing, what you love to do. Because I remember I seen online where it was saying, y'all are so quick to quit your job, but when you work for yourself, you're putting more hours in. And I commented on the post. I'm like, but if you're doing what you love to do, it don't feel like work. it really feels like you are following your purpose. Yeah, you have to sacrifice more hours, but it's probably hours that you're enjoying, you know, and time flies when you're having fun, at least for me. Seriously. So
Yeah.
what I guess, are you working on any exhibitions right now, or what is it that you're currently doing in Mexico?
In Mexico specifically, right now I'm doing a lot of artists for hire work. What, baby? It's my son. Come here, what's up?
Yes, come on, son.
What'd you say?
I said I love you, and I think I'm sweating.
Okay, I love you too. Come say hi.
I love
He
it.
interrupted
Come on,
our
love.
meeting just to say love you.
He said what? He came what?
He interrupted our meeting. They know I'm in a meeting just to say I love you, mom. That's it. He's a mama's
Oh.
boy.
Yeah.
That's my writer.
That's beautiful.
I'm sorry. What was the question? Kids.
No, you're
Kids.
good. I was just wondering what are you doing? What are you working on? Any exhibitions? But you said artists for hire. So tell me more about that.
Yeah, so the Shay Chanette, at least here in Mexico, which my brand is now literally international. Thank you, Jesus. I'm doing a lot of artists for hire work. So that's like paint and sips. I partner with my DJ partner and we do events here in the city, but we make them fun. Like we have a whole different type of paint and sip with music and it's a vibe. Between that, I'm still doing a ton of murals. They love murals here, so I have learned murals. I had to. Um, I did have a gallery showing here, but that gallery is over. I may or may not do another one here. I don't know yet.
Okay.
What else? I'm doing a lot here, but I'm also flying out at the end of the month to go to Vegas and complete a mural. Look, getting flued out for the first time
Come on,
to do a
flew it
mural in
out.
Vegas.
That's
Yes.
beautiful.
So,
Congratulations.
thank you. It's cool.
Yeah, Moni did
It's
it.
cool. Won't he? Because I'm like, y'all gonna fly me out? Okay.
Because I know you still have art here in the States. It's being shown at the museum. I was just there 2 days ago, and your pieces are up, which by the way, I need to get with you so we can, get the names and, stuff like that. But logistic stuff, we'll talk about that. But so you are definitely international. You out here in these streets.
We out here with no
Mural?
representation. It's God.
So
And murals are not easy.
I don't see how they're easy. I don't see how, for me, it's like the vastness of it. I'm like, so you continue here and then you kept going and then you went around or whatever you building, you put it on. I see like there was murals on bridges here in Ghana, and it's just beautiful. You'll have to, I can't wait till you come here.
Me either.
And expand your artistry there. I do want to, before we get into our questions, and we're going to do a little round of We're Not Really Strangers. Was there anything else we need to wrap up on? Any other questions you have for Queen?
No, I really wanted to just get into, obviously the whole reason why she moved and the purpose. And so let me ask you, I do have one more question. What do you feel like your mission is? Like, what is your mission? What do you think your God-given purpose is? Like, what do you think the end game is? Or do you think there is one?
Oh yeah, there's an end game, baby. I got the end game written out. Listen, the end game is to live on a boat by myself as a reclusive artist and rich one day. No.
Yes.
Love it.
Beautiful. I love it. I also wanted to add, because I love Black art. Like that's the art that I've been to. Like I love that piece, the Black Panthers one that you did. What would you say like your favorite piece that you've ever created? What was your favorite art piece that you put out into the world? You have one, or you have one?
I do, and I'll have to send it to you guys. It's actually the piece that put me on the map as a professional fine artist, and it leads into that purpose. My purpose is to tell the stories, tell the messages, but also inspire people and make them feel back in love with themselves, who they are, especially who we are as a people. That's my purpose. And I just choose to do it through art. But there's a piece called Blind Eyes See.
Wait, what is going on? Is a train passing by?
Can
You
you
hear a
hear? Y'all
train?
can't hear me no more?
I can hear you.
Y'all don't hear anything? Is that me? Is that here?
Yeah, that might be
Sorry.
How
in
is that?
Ghana.
Is that better?
Sorry, I just hear like a helicopter or something.
No,
But
not a helicopter.
no.
I don't know what she hearing.
Sorry,
I don't hear it. I don't hear it.
It's probably outside my window, and I'm like, "Could y'all move around?" It's probably me. Go ahead, sorry.
All right, testing. Can y'all hear me okay now?
Yeah, I can definitely hear you.
Okay. All right. Long story short, the piece called Blind I See, it speaks to my purpose and it put me on the map as a professional artist. It's basically a close-up, kind of like the Black Panthers piece. I love taking a close-up of an image and pointing out a specific message in it. The blind I see is two eyes, and in one eye you have the American flag with the blue line for police brutality, and in the other eye you have the SARS in SARS flag, or the Nigerian flag with the it's losing me what SARS stands for, but basically the police brutality that Nigerians were going through. And basically in the reflection, he's seeing both of these that we face as people of color to express we're not that far apart and we struggle and we fighting things, and hopefully we can learn to fight them together because they hurt. And I have a big heart for Nigeria. I want to go to Ghana, but Nigeria is my heart. And the SARS thing, everything that was going on, it was heavy. So that's my favorite piece because it speaks to purpose.
I love that. Yeah, we're gonna have to maybe tease that photo. I don't know, a video, if I can edit it in there, if we could include it in our marketing for the podcast, but I would love to see it.
Thank you. It's one of my
All right,
favorites.
great. Let's pick up these questions. Have you ever heard of, first of all, have you ever heard of the game We're Not Really Strangers?
No, what's going on?
So Ray and I were introduced to it a while ago, but I think they're the coolest questions ever. So I think she pulled out a couple. It's nothing you can prepare for, so be prepared.
Yeah, it's just questions helping people really build relationships and community and gain a better understanding of like how each other see the world. And also I think it speaks to like the interconnectedness as well between two people and how we perceive each other, but we're not really strangers. So, kind of speaking to, the like I said, the connectedness of, we think we're strangers, but there's a lot about us that may be familiar, a lot about us that may be the same, things like that. So I have a few questions. The first question is, when was the last time you surprised yourself? When was the last time you surprised yourself?
Like surprise myself? Ooh. Okay, I don't, maybe this counts. The last time I surprised myself was hiking up this place here called the Mirador Lookout Point and painting on top, even though I was afraid of heights. Surprised the shit out of me.
How long was the hike?
The hike wasn't that long, maybe 8 minutes. It was mostly stairs.
Okay. But it was the height part. It was how far you were up. That. Yeah. What did you paint?
I just painted like an eye. Look, I didn't even care about the painting. I was like conquering that fear of heights.
Yes, that's beautiful.
That was hard.
Surprise. Second question. What lesson took you the longest to unlearn? What lesson
to unlearn?
To unlearn. I love the word unlearn, but
I would say self-love, like learning how to truly love yourself, unlearning that going to the spa or getting your nails done was just self-care, but actually doing that work, healing yourself, dealing with issues. That took a long time. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, this is a wild card. I hope you're ready for it. Sing the chorus of your favorite song of all time and really get into it.
Of all time, who can pick one song?
What song comes to mind? There's a song that came to mind. I know it did.
I wanna dance with somebody. I wanna feel the heat with somebody.
Oh, dance with somebody. Hey, I'm not here to sing your song. Finish. With somebody who loves me.
That's all the words I know.
Say you wanna dance with me, baby. That song is like freedom. What makes you like that song? To me, it's like about freedom. Not giving, not caring about what anybody thinks. Like what do you like about that song?
That's what I like about it. What you just said. And honestly, it's not my favorite song. It's my partner's favorite song. So that's why it popped in my head.
Yeah. I've been vibing to that. Which I've been loving y'all's social media posts. I love that. Did y'all meet in Mexico?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's beautiful. What will your younger self not believe about your life today?
My younger self would not have believed that you can be authentically yourself. You can be unusual, quirky, eccentric, weird, and still have a tribe, still have love, still be accepted, and still be happy. Straight up.
I love that. That's beautiful. That's something that definitely we learn as we get older. We think that, being everything that's not us is what we're supposed to be aiming to do. So I love that.
Mm-hmm. Real talk.
Queen is like locked out. Something. Queen, can you
I
hear us?
know. Uh-huh. Oh.
You like shit. I don't know if something happened with her internet. We'll try to figure it out. But I do want you to share like any where we can find your all your businesses and how we can stay in contact.
Okay. I think I'm gonna plug Ubuntu. So best way to work with me is to work with my team, Ubuntu Graphics, ubuntugraphics.com. That's the best way. Right now, we're branching out and working with more people, helping build stronger brands. Again, we do everything from websites to logos to NFTs to animations to video editing. So that's a lot to say, but my team is dope. They're hungry and they deliver excellent products. So ubuntugraphics.com. You can find us on Instagram at Ubuntu Graphics and on Facebook at Ubuntu Graphics.
Awesome. I hope that I can work with y'all to some capacity. What about, and then any of your other Instagrams or social medias? Did you mention that?
Yes, I'm Shay Chanette on everything, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Shay Chanette. Get in contact with me. I'm a real person. I respond, or somebody on my page gonna respond. But connect with me. I love doing free consultations on travel, on becoming an international artist, on networking, business plans. Like I want to see creatives really thrive and put themselves out there. So you can always book me for a free consultation. We just ask for a donation or a good review.
Awesome. I'm manifesting that we will work with you to some capacity, whether it's Black around the world, whether it's my own efforts and Queen efforts. I hope that we can level up and elevate each other in some way, because I see a lot of alignment and I really believe in what you're doing. Super grateful for you saying yes to being on the podcast. Super grateful to us meeting you on that day in Dallas. I did not foresee we would, it would evolve into a relationship and evolve into you being on the show. But I'm super grateful for this connection. And we went to college together is another thing too.
I know, and didn't know.
I didn't know. So I love the full circle moment of like probably bumping shoulders or sitting next to each other at a table, but then years later, like we actually connect when we don't live in the same city. It's always a beautiful thing.
The universe has this way of bringing things around when it's supposed to. And that was so cool to meet you both at a gallery and then learn about the history and the Black Wall Street. Like I've literally been in the gallery Queen had and didn't even know.
Yeah.
Didn't even know it was hers.
Wow. We are sorry that you got disconnected. We are co-hosts.
I don't even know, but like literally, how can I get disconnected and I'm the one that was recording? Like, how does it even?
Right. I'm glad that at least it passed it on to you. I was still recording for you. I got you.
Yeah.
But I don't know whose cloud is going to go to. So we'll see. I mean, he's going to go to the Zoom clip. That's technology.
Don't worry about it. I can do some stuff on my end.
Some editing, some remixing. But yeah, we're just sharing where to find us. Follow us at Black Around the World _ on Instagram. I think that's the only social media. We do have TikTok. It's not as active.
We're getting there.
Black Around the World. At the podcast, you can also email us at blackaroundtheworldthepodcast@gmail.com. Personal, I'm a Ray _ I'm a .Ray _ on Instagram. What about you, Queen?
My personal IG is Queenwood _ AVE. AVE stands for Avenue, like Greenwood Avenue, Queenwood Avenue. And I don't know, did I miss it? Did you already include how we can contact Ubuntu? I don't want to mess it up.
Yes, we did. We did all that.
Okay, good. All right. Well, I'm gonna figure that out.
Wait, what you call it now? What were you about to call it?
Oh, don't make me say it again. Don't make me say it again. And hold on, give me Ubuntu. Ooh, see.
Ubuntu.
I'm Ubuntu.
Ubuntu.
Oh, Ubuntu.
Yes, Ubuntu. Yes. And hopefully both of you ladies are on my Instagram as collaborators, so you can share more of what you do on that channel. Let me know.
Absolutely. Yeah. I will make sure that is up and running for us.
Perfect.
I'm mad I couldn't get that word right. I'm too far removed from the motherland. Too far removed.
It took me a minute. It took me a minute.
Cool. But also rate us. Like on Spotify, there's a rate button. So I'm asking our loyal listeners, who we're super grateful for you for rocking with us, rate us on Spotify. That's important. Like us.
Yeah, and if it's a bad rating, just email us.
Here's the feedback. Just pull us to the side. Pull us to the side. You know.
Send it to management.
Yeah.
YouTube as well, which a lot of people like to watch. So like us on YouTube. I don't know if there's rating on YouTube, but I think it's the like button that matters. And subscribing to our channel. So please go ahead and do that for us.
Please and thank you.
All right, and that's a wrap. Everybody stay Black.
Stay Black and beautiful.
I'm sorry, y'all. Thank y'all for having me. Love and blessings.
Of course. Thank you for being on.